I'm Allendale's chief meteorologist Ryan Martin with a look at your midday weather update. Surface analysis shows our frontal boundary has stalled out as anticipated over the upper Midwest. Actually, we've seen here just in the past couple of hours this front transition to a warm front going all the way back to low pressure that's in the Wyoming and Montana area. So look for action that's currently working its way through parts of Nebraska and western Iowa to lift it northward. This is also part of the reason why we think everything's going to fall apart before it makes it to the central and eastern Corn Belt. The transition here to a warm airflow pattern is going to lift most of this action to the north, probably up into Canada. Still looking for anywhere from a quarter to maybe 1 full inch of rain over parts of Iowa, Minnesota, if you're lucky, maybe into extreme western parts of Wisconsin, extreme northwestern Illinois. I'm not looking for much there. The northerly flow here is just too much. Coverage in those states that we mentioned, probably 50, 60% Iowa, 50, 60% Minnesota. That's probably about it. Nebraska, likely in line to get the best rains out of this. So all of this is done. The rest of the Corn Belt then is dry right on through the weekend, through next weekend as well. We want to point out, though, what one model and maybe a couple more are trying to do for early next week. What we've got here is one strong area of high pressure. We'll be moving off to the south and east early next week. And then another strong high comes in behind it. In between, you've got a boundary just by definition. Slight shift in air mass, a slight shift in wind direction. There's a front there by definition. The thing is, if I'm looking at this right, and we got two strong dry high pressure domes that are just coming in one right after the other, there won't be any moisture with this boundary to work with. I just don't think there's anything there. Models are trying to bring a little bit in, quarter, third of an inch or so. I'm not going to change the forecast right now. I think we're dry. I'm going to ask the models to prove me wrong. As we move forward, we'll see if we get any more consensus on this, see if the models back off the moisture or if they try and bring more in. We're open to change here. It's just this right now the solution doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm not seeing any moisture flow getting injected in. It's just a simple dry air mass change. Otherwise, after that, still looking at a front moving across the Corn Belt probably in the October 4th, 5th time frame. That's what I'm zeroing in on. The models are all over the place. I'm calling for it then because I'm looking at a fairly significant cool air push to come in right around October 4th. And anytime you get an air mass change like that, I think you're going to have to put a fairly significant batch of moisture in. There's going to be a nice front that develops, and there should be some south wind flow pulling moisture off the Gulf into that. So looking for maybe upwards of a half an inch of rain coverage, 60% of the Corn Belt. It's not a big deal, but it's probably our next good chance of rain for the entire Corn Belt. As we take a look internationally now, keeping an eye on Brazil, the short-term forecast pattern looks the same. The heavier moisture in southern Brazil trying to lift north into this weekend and early next week, falling apart then as it gets over key bean areas in central Brazil, mostly Mato Grosso and Mato Grosso do Sul. Where things are getting a little interesting now is in the extended period or after day 10. Models had been trying to bring a nice slug of moisture out of Paraguay into southern Brazil and then lift it north. Latest information in, not as bullish on that. I guess I'm not going to give up on it just yet. Let's see what additional model runs show, but maybe we don't have as good a threat of moisture there as we head toward the turn of the month in Brazil bean areas. That would be a little bit of a setback. That's the way things are stacking up at midday. If you've got any questions on the weather, give us a call at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.